Premier Boxing Champs and Showtime is killing the competition. You be killing them. You be killing them. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel. Now, head over to the website, Boxingego.com. We're out here working, pinning articles, holding boxing down. Shout out to my dude, Bakari. He pinned an article regarding Premier Boxing Champs, and the link is in the description. Make sure you guys check it out. It's a well-written, it's a good article, and I had to make a video about this. Right now, Showtime is killing, and I told you guys, I'm a straight shooter. I'm fair. If I see things a certain way, if the sky is blue, I'll tell you it's blue. I'm not a promoter. I'm not gonna say, oh no, technically the sky it's like a teal. It's pink. I'm not gonna do that. And right now, no cookie cutter, no sugarcoating. Showtime regarding boxing is killing the competition. And that didn't always used to be the case. HBO was the front runner for boxing programming. Great specials, 24/7 face-off. And in recent years, they just stepped off the gas. And the thing that's disappointing is boxing and life in general, but boxing particularly, is a competitive field. You look at fights like this one right here, Curtis Stevens and David Lemieux. The guys are fighting in March and they're already trash talking each other. It's that competition. I'm gonna knock you out. Oh, okay, we'll see about it. I'm gonna knock you out. And HBO, from what I've seen, has kind of lost that competitive streak. It's like they've almost conceded to Showtime, and they were once the leading network for boxing. But now they're just like, we'll just make some money here and there, put on a couple fights. But I don't see them competing. Like Showtime unveils a monster schedule, which included Julian J. Rock Williams finally getting a title shot in December. You have Frampton Santa Cruz 2, which was the Fight of the Year nominee in 2016. This fight, James DeGale and Badou Jack, we just got to watch that last week, which was a great fight. And it had some controversy. It had everything you need as a fight fan. Some controversy, back and forth seesaw action. It was overall a really good fight. And Tank Davis on the undercard, he entertained, at least to me, became a champion, showed us what he's made of a little bit more against a better name and a champion. And I really haven't seen an HBO response. Now, regarding Bakari's article and just Premier Boxing Champs, you guys see the title. Amidst hate, Premier Boxing Champ continues to shine. It's going into its third season, and as you guys see, on March 7th, the Premier Boxing Champ series will have been airing for a solid 2 years, right? Now, it hasn't always been an easy 2 years because since its inception, you had people who said it won't work. This will never work. Who cares? I like Golden Boy. I like Top Rank. Who cares about free TV? I like paying for HBO. Al Heyman has too many fighters in his stable. He's stealing venues. He's doing this. Heyman this, Heyman. He's the cancer of boxing. Right? You heard all these things. This will never work. They're spending too much money. Yeah, man. Premier Boxing Champ. They're paying the fighters too much. They're spending too much money. They'll be broke in no time. Right? All this stuff. And the funny thing is, only in boxing do you really see that, where somebody is at least coming into the industry, they state their mission statement, they're giving you something for free. They're like, hey, we got a ton of fighters. This is with this young group of fighters, some older, some younger, with this crop of fighters, we plan to give you guys a gang of fights, more fights than you've ever seen in recent memory. And some of them are going to be on free TV. And can you believe this? There was actually people who resisted and acted like they were opposed to that, right? Like they didn't want that to happen. Man, HBO's way better. You didn't even give it a chance. So, March 7th, just after Danny Garcia versus Keith Thurman, which is the fight I want to see the most, and there's a lot of great fights, but to me, that's just the one I gotta see. Like I gotta see it, right? March 4th, that goes down, but March 7th, will have been airing for 2 years. So it's funny because initially, like I said, and the reason I know is because I had a YouTube channel, right? I was one of the people that ushered in Premier Boxing Champs on my channel. See, the thing with me is I'm willing to give something a shot. Like, I'm not gonna like bash it. I don't even know what they're talking about, right? So it literally makes no sense to not give it a shot. This is Premier Boxing Champ's mission statement. PBC takes boxing back to its roots. This is boxing pure and simple, where what's brought to the fight mentally and physically is what determines who goes home the winner and who just goes home, right? So, I mean, I'm like, that sounds cool. And to be honest, Showtime, Premier Boxing Champs, they're almost one umbrella, because really all the Showtime fights, I mean, name the last big Showtime fight card you've seen with no Al Heyman fighters, right? Mayweather Promotions just told you that Mayweather Promotions, PBC, we're one family. It's under one umbrella. Al Heyman's my man, and that's my dude. And between that family, that dynasty, they're killing. They're holding stuff down, and they've been entertaining to me. For example, this is HBO's official website. You go to their boxing section, right? Saturday, January 28th, you have Francisco Vargas versus Miguel Berchelt. Don't know who that is. He's probably ranked in the super featherweight division, but I don't know him. And it's not just about what I know. I mean, do you guys name his last 3 fights, right? I can tell you Canelo's last 3 fights, Amir Khan's last 3 fights, Chris Algieri, hell, I can tell you his last 3 fights, but I don't know much of anything about Miguel Berchelt. Co-main event is Takashi Miura versus Mickey Roman. This is a free, well, not free, but on regular HBO, right? As I mentioned, James DeGale, Badou Jack, they just fought. But on that same night, January 28th, you have Carl Frampton and Leo Santa Cruz, once beaten, and he lost to this man. Frampton, now a champion, are now battling. Yes, you could say, oh, they ducked Rigondeaux. That's true, but that doesn't change the fact that the first fight was exciting and the first fight was entertaining, and we're getting that at the MGM. And then you have Dejan Zlaticanin of Montenegro, who is fighting Mikey Garcia, who was a champion in the lighter divisions, had one comeback fight after a long legal battle with Top Rank. And now he's already challenging in his second fight, working with the Premier Boxing Champs series, right? Second fight, he's challenging for the WBC title at lightweight. So January 28th, you tell me which one you're going to DVR and which one you're going to watch in real time. Is it going to be a 2016 Fight of the Year nominee, right, on at the same time, part 2, or is it going to be Francisco Vargas versus Miguel Berchelt? And you look through HBO scheduling, Miguel Cotto versus James Kirkland. Guess what? HBO pay-per-view. Gennady Golovkin, Danny Jacobs. I'm really looking forward to this fight. Guess what? HBO pay-per-view. And then Saturday, May 6th, Cinco de Mayo weekend, Canelo, I was born ready, Alvarez versus Julio Fantastico Chavez Jr. Guess what? HBO pay-per-view. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 fights on their whole calendar, unless they haven't updated their website, because I think Curtis Stevens and David Lemieux should be added to HBO Boxing After Dark. But as of right now on their website, they have 4 fights and 3 of them are pay-per-view, right? And you can add the Lemieux Stevens, which was just announced. So that'll be 5 fights and 3 of them are pay-per-view. And I mean, I want to see the Curtis Stevens versus David Lemieux fight, but it's not as meaningful as Triple G Jacobs. Jacobs and Triple G are the number 1 and 2 guys at middleweight. Curtis Stevens and David Lemieux have multiple losses, and they both lost to Gennady Golovkin. So although that's a very fun fight, it's not as meaningful, right? You go to Premier Boxing Champs, their schedule. Like I said, Frampton Santa Cruz 2, Mikey Garcia undefeated versus Zlaticanin, who's undefeated. You have February 2nd, you have Sammy Vasquez versus Luis Collazo. So he's coming off his first loss, going in against a veteran who gave Keith Thurman some issue, hurt him. Robert Easter versus Cruz. Rasheed Warren. So an About Billions card, title defense, IBF. Saturday, February 18th, you have Adrian. AB. Ain't beating him. Broner versus Granados. You have Deontay Wilder coming off hands injury, fighting Andres Jaworski and Garcia Thurman, which is a fight on Showtime or CBS, and that's a mega fight, right? That we all want to see. Somebody's gotta go. You better not duck me, son, right? So it's like this is just the early calendar. Not to mention that December for Showtime was popping too, where they had a ton of pretty good fights with like Julian J. Rock Williams. That was a highlight reel type of KO in that Jamal Charlo fight. And then you had Abner Mares, who came back into his true form against a puncher. Some people thought he was going to get knocked out, and then he looked good in that fight. Pause. So it's not looking good, man, for the detractors. A lot of people that say, oh, this will never work and all that, where are they? Like, you know what I'm saying? I told you guys 2017 was going to be a bad year for y'all, because I could already see how it was starting. And it all goes back to this one thing. Like Will Smith said in Concussion, I told you, tell the truth. Tell the truth. You got to tell the truth. You know what I mean? If PBC is destined to fail, let's celebrate it while it lasts. You know what I mean? They took a shot in the dark and tried something. Try to bring boxing back to its roots and free TV. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But that's not the case. Some of y'all didn't want it to work. And now HBO is kind of starving us from regular boxing. It's like they're almost out of the boxing business. And unless it's a pay-per-view with guaranteed revenue dollars, you know what I mean, from ticket sales and live gates and all that, then we may not get it. But the problem I have with this is I literally watch HBO for boxing. That is it. I don't watch any original series. I don't even know what series they have. Big Little Lies. I don't watch that. I don't even know what that is, right? Wizard of Lies. I guess they just have a bunch of live programming. I don't know, but I don't watch none of these lies. I don't watch none of these series. What they got in comedy? Let's see. I don't even know who the fuck that is. Pete Holmes? No, I don't watch Faces and Sounds. Pause. Right? So, like 50 Cent said, you gotta do something, baby. HBO, you gotta do something, baby. Everybody listening. Everybody listening. I'm trying to see some sports. Not just Bryant Gumbel, real sport. I want to see some actual boxing. That's what I know HBO for. Classic boxing. And then on top of that, HBO's not even doing some of the stuff that made their boxing programming popular, like Face Off. Can we get a Canelo versus Chavez Jr. Face Off? And see, the worst thing is, I understand budget cuts or whatnot, but you got to figure it out. You know what I mean? Because I've already, see, I'm not a person that just throws out complaints. I have solutions. HBO, if they were ever to get in touch with me and say, hey, we want to hire you freelance or whatever, give us some ideas on how we can improve, that's easy. You know what I mean? I'll give them a freebie, free of charge right now. I know myself and other people that are talented in terms of directing, have an eye for the camera, in terms of like you get a nice camera and get some good shots. You could cut your production costs down and do similar series to 24/7 with a much smaller crew. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to have these $20,000 to $40,000 camcorders or cameras and stuff. That's nice, but you don't have to do all that. And I know a lot of people that run and gun style of shoot that can produce something that's pretty dope. They do it yourself stabilizers and stuff like that, right? You don't have to have the whole, you know what I mean, some of those rigs and stuff, because I know this stuff, but some of those camera rigs like stabilizers and sliders and stuff, the top of the line stuff is expensive. Some of that shit costs more than people's cameras, like $10,000s of dollars, you know what I mean, for the real nice ones, the bodysuit ones and stuff like that. So there's ways about it. There's ways to cut costs but also be effective. And to me, you have to make it understandable to the public what we're buying. And you can't have these pay-per-views, Cotto versus Kirkland. Okay, they're both coming off Canelo losses. Canelo knocked one of them out and was really dominant, or definitively. I'm not even gonna say dominant, but I thought he looked pretty dominant to me. But some people said it was close, whatever. But bottom line, they both come off Canelo losses, and one was a brutal knockout, and they both been on a year plus layout. layoff. So with no face off, with no 24/7, how do you substantiate and justify why I'm watching that particular fight, right? Oh, because Guillermo Rigondeaux, the fighter that I think is very skilled and I like, is on the undercard. But wait, HBO did a great job of bashing Rigondeaux. So why do I want to see him fight against Moises Flores? You know what I'm saying? When HBO told me that Rigondeaux pretty much wasn't shit and his style is so boring, and Bob Arum's telling me, HBO, every time I say Rigondeaux, they throw up. I mean, I go in the office and they puke. You know what I'm saying? So HBO, you already told me Rigondeaux wasn't really about that life. There was nothing fun to watch. He's boring. You also have ESPN writers and different people telling me how boring Rigondeaux is. So that's supposed to make me buy Miguel Cotto versus Kirkland when you guys bashed the fuck out of Rigondeaux and said he wasn't the truth. And how can anyone stomach watching him? It's not looking good, man. And to me, you got to justify fights like this. Why would we pay pay-per-view for this? Especially when you're not even coming out of pocket to promote the fight as well as it could, like the HBO 24/7 to Face Off. Miguel Cotto speaks English. James Kirkland speaks English. His speech is kind of slower, but they both speak English, right? So what's the problem? And realistically, from a production standpoint, I'm not even trying to throw shade because it was an ingenious idea with the Face Off, and you've even seen the UK kind of rip it off with the Gloves Are Off series. But it's a black stage with the fucking table and Max Kellerman. How much could that cost? The biggest cost would probably be in flying the fighters out to whatever neutral location to film that. But as far as the setup and the stage, it's a table. You got 2 chairs, a table, 2 fighters, and then Max Kellerman. How expensive can that possibly be, right? And look at it on the back end. If you promote it right, you might sell a couple more tickets. You might sell a couple more pay-per-views. So it takes money to make money. PBC, Showtime, keep doing your thing. You're killing. Fair is fair. If PBC was slacking and they didn't have more fights, they're probably getting the Joshua Klitschko fight, which is another big one. 80,000 tickets sold. So if that goes to Showtime, that's another nail in HBO's coffin. And that's just how I feel. I don't have anything against HBO, but I think they need to step up their marketing and their boxing programming back to what it used to be. You had a lousy 2016. You got to do something, baby. Let me know what you guys think. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.